Hello, welcome. My name is Francie Soito. I'm the author of Why Are You Sick? Practical Tools for Wellness. And I want to thank you for joining me this afternoon. I want to spend about the next 30 minutes or so just chatting a little bit about the book, give you some tools and tips that you can take away this afternoon to help understand, why we get sick in the first place and give yourself some tools on how you can make yourself well again. So what I plan to do today is just chat a little bit about the book, talk a little bit about, I'll read some direct portions of the book to you, and I'll have time for Q&A towards the end. And I'll also be sharing with you some things coming down the road, workshops, as well as my next book that I'm writing right now. And I'll be giving away signed free copies of my book, Why Are You Sick? Practical Tools for Wellness, to those that ask some questions. So depending on, I'm going to feel into the energy of the questions. And if I feel like this would be helpful for you, I will send you out a signed copy of the book at the very end. So make sure you start populating your questions now, and I'll get to those in a little bit. So first of all, what is Why Are You Sick, and why did I decide to write the book? I am a Reiki practitioner, a Reiki teacher, and a Reiki master, and I've been doing holistic, I call myself like a healing facilitator for the last 12 years or so. And over the course of those 12 years, I started to see a lot of patterns with the types of illnesses that my clients were getting, and then the root causes behind them. And I found that fascinating. And what I try to do is, after every session, give my clients some tools that they can use to kind of understand why they got sick in the first place, and give them tools that they can kind of use on their own to kind of maintain their own wellness and their own health. And so I was always looking for resources out there, books, CDs, movies, etc., that would kind of encapsulate what I was trying to share with my clients. Something along the lines of, the illnesses that we get, the chakra systems that we have, and Reiki and energy healing, and how our mind really can affect our physical body. And there's plenty of books out there that talk about the mind-body connection. There's plenty of books out there that talk about chakras. There's plenty of books out there that talk about energy healing and Reiki. But I couldn't find one that was, succinct, that brought all three of these things together in a way that was accessible to the mass population. So a lot of the books already kind of require the reader to have some kind of knowledge about chakras, or have some kind of knowledge about Reiki, or have some kind of knowledge about energy. And so what I want to do is create a very simple, easy, practical guide on understanding chakras A to Z, your energy system from A to Z, and how our thoughts and our emotions can create certain illnesses, and then give you really easy practical tools that you can use to kind of make yourself well again, whether that's through meditation, certain affirmations, even certain yoga exercises I've got in my book. So without further ado, what I thought I'd do is just read a little bit about what I have in the introduction, just to kind of give you a sense of what I'm talking about, and then I'll give you a few more examples. So keep those questions coming in, and I will get to them in just a minute. So the foreword to the book. I'd like to share a story regarding a very special horse named Shaka. Shaka lives in Hawaii, and for over 6 years suffered from a cancerous growth on her left hind leg. Her veterinarian kept shaving off the growth and was perplexed as to why it kept growing back. Shaka's owner, Rick, called my office in California and asked if I thought Reiki could help, and I said, couldn't hurt. And after getting a bit more information, I started to send distance Reiki to Shaka, the horse. What I learned from Rick was that about 7 or 8 years prior, Shaka moved from an area where she had a lot of horse company to a new property where she was the only horse up until about a year ago. When I started to send Reiki to her that first session, all I could hear was these words, left behind, emphatically. I got the impression that she was worried about her friends, and that she had left behind, and about being left behind herself. After I contemplated this some more, I put two and two together. It's her left hind leg that had the growth. Shaka's body was literally manifesting exactly what she was feeling. I asked Rick to say daily affirmations to Shaka, assuring her that her friends that she left behind were okay, they were loved for and taken care of, and that she was not going to be left behind herself. I sent the same messages to her during our weekly distance Reiki sessions together. And through Reiki, I was able to also cut cords from the past trauma and remove any excess inflammation in that area of the tumor. As of this writing, Shaka is doing great and the growth has never come back. Rick had said that the growth usually comes back after about 3 weeks or so, and we've beaten the record. Shaka's story is a perfect example of why I wrote Why Are You Sick? Her story is one of hundreds like it that illustrates how our physical bodies show us clues as to why we get sick in the first place. Remember to look and listen to the signs that our bodies are telling us every day. So I love that story because it's the exact thing that I see with my clients over and over again. Cancer doesn't just show up. The specific type of cancer isn't random. I'll give you some more examples. Breast cancer, right, is in the heart chakra. Heart chakra has to deal with love relationship with yourself, love relationship with others. A lot of us give and give and give and give until our tanks run dry, making this area weak energetically, which then makes it prone to illness physically. Does that make sense? Hi, Eric. Love from San Diego. Love from Milpitas. Thanks, Eric. Fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, MS. These are all diseases of inflammation. The root cause of that is our adrenal glands get stuck in the on position and flood our system with adrenaline, which then causes inflammation. So managing stress in your life, having a productive way of dealing with stress or saying no to things, creating healthy boundaries is a way of mitigating that stress, calming down the adrenal glands, and lowering the inflammation in the body. Countless clients I've had with backaches, neck aches, shoulder pain, stomach issues, we could all find the root cause from a mental and emotional trigger. So one of the tools that I talk about in the book, and it's really key to understanding this concept. Every single chronic illness, disease, chronic pain has a mental or emotional root component to it. Where it manifests in the body is a direct clue as to what triggered it in the first place, just like the example of the breast cancer that I mentioned. I'll ask you to think about yourself, about your loved ones. Hey, Richard. Think about people that you know that might have, or yourself that might have a chronic illness or chronic pain, and ask yourself first, number one, where in your body is that pain or illness developing? 2, when did it actually start? So when did the first symptom, not the diagnosis, but the first symptom really start? So let's say, take an example, you get stomach pain or you've got lower back pain. Let's say it started about 2 years ago. You've been dealing with chronic back pain for the last 2 years, let's say. That's in your solar plexus chakra. Now, what I want you to do is go back 2 more years before the first symptoms started. So now we're looking at like for that example, 4 years ago. What was going on in your life 4 years ago? If it's something like a stomach problem, digestive issues, or lower back pain, you want to look for things like lack of self-confidence, feeling powerless, feeling like your life is chaotic and outside of your control. So things like losing a job, getting turned down for a promotion, having a breakup, and it kind of left you feeling powerless, losing a loved one. Major life events are what can trigger illness, but it takes the body 2 years for that illness to manifest into a physical, actual disease or illness. So that's where a lot of people get lost in understanding, where did this cancer come from, or where did this back pain come from, or where did this digestion problem come from? They look at what's going on right now, today. What did I eat, or what did I do, or how was I sitting, right? To try to understand why they got sick in the first place. They look at what was happening in the present. But really, the chronic issues, the things that have been with you for months or years that the doctors, don't have a lot of solutions for you, it's a mental and emotional component is the trigger that started it all. So again, things to look out for: losing a job, having a death in the family, having a bad breakup, having a move, feeling afraid, something where you were feeling unsafe or insecure in some way. And what I try to do in the book is talk about the 7 chakra system and how each of the chakras, or each of the energy centers that we have in our body, maps to a particular mental and emotional state. So if you can figure out where in your body the illness is, when it started, my book will show you how to map that physical part to the chakras, and then that shows you the mental and emotional issues connected with that particular body part. Once you understand the mental and emotional kind of trigger or root cause, then you can use the tools that I have in the book to kind of heal that mental state, heal that emotional state, heal that trauma. Things like, again, meditation. Reiki is always a great solution for helping to clear out those emotional and mental triggers. Journaling is a phenomenal tool. Letter writing is like the best thing ever. Letter writing, let's say if you had a really difficult job or a difficult person in your family, and you've never been able to kind of communicate or get the words out or express yourself because it either wasn't appropriate, or you felt like it was going to fall on deaf ears, to the point where now you've got maybe difficulties swallowing, or you feel like you've got difficulties in your throat. If you just take out a pen and paper and write them a letter telling them everything that you'd want to say but weren't able to, and then burning it as a way of kind of releasing it, it really does free you from that trauma of the past. So you're not carrying it in the present. Questions? Any questions you guys have? Okay. So a couple more examples I wanted to share with you. I go into this quite a bit in my Reiki 1 classes. And so if you're interested in learning Reiki for yourself, I'm doing Zoom classes. You can take those remotely. I've got one actually coming up next weekend. I'm also doing a Why Are You Sick workshop. So I take all the exercises in each of the chapters in the book, and I walk you through them kind of step by step, and we go through the exercises together in a weekend so that you really understand the concepts and you get kind of one-on-one help and feedback to walk you through any areas of concern or any specific questions you might have. And I should caveat this by saying I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not allowed to prescribe or to diagnose. All I'm trying to do is showcase some of the patterns I've seen with my clients over the years, the thousands of sessions I've done, the hundreds of classes I've taught with my students and with my Reiki clients, and just give you some other ways to look at, why you got sick in the first place. I do not have all the answers, far from it. It's basically, me collating the decade long of my experiences and putting in a way that's hopefully easy for you to digest and understand, and if you feel comfortable implementing in your own daily life. Do you need Reiki to help yourself, Eric? Good question. So Reiki is one of many tools that you can use to help yourself. Anyone that I know that's suffering from chronic issues or disease or chronic pain, or, I've got a lot of clients right now going through chemo, they're active cancer patients. For them, I recommend Reiki, learning Reiki so that, when you're having those bad days, when you have a lot of pain, let's say it's 3 o'clock in the morning, nothing's open, you don't feel like you can't go to the hospital for whatever reason, or it's not that bad, but it's bad enough to keep you up. How nice is it to just kind of turn your hands on Reiki, 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 I'm a channel for Reiki, and then just like put your hands on your head and eliminate your headache or your stomach ache or your neck ache. So I recommend that any and all folks should learn Reiki. It's super easy. You don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to be religious. It doesn't go against any particular belief system, because it's all energy based. So it's easy to learn. It's easy to implement. All you need is an attunement and kind of the ins and outs of the energy system and the chakra system, and that's it. And then you can start using it on yourself immediately after just the first class. So thank you, Eric. I hope I answered your question. Any other questions? I'm going to check over here. No. So who would like to get a free book mailed out to them? And I'm also offering a special for receiving a free remote Reiki session. So what I'm trying to do, if you can't tell, is I'm trying to promote my book and to try to get it out there more, not for any other reason than I believe that the content can help people. That's it. In order to reach more people, I need to kind of improve my reviews on Amazon. And so one of the ways I thought of doing that is asking if you guys, read the book, like the book, if you want to review it on Amazon, take a screenshot of that and email me that at Francie, FRANCIE, at Reiki-energyhealing.com. With proof that it was you placed the order, you did the review, then I'll reach out to you and we can schedule a remote Reiki session together. I would love that. I would really appreciate all the support I can get. Self-published, just trying to get the word out there. And so hopefully you would enjoy a free Reiki session, and it would be my pleasure to offer that in exchange for a review. Thank you, Eric. Eric says, I have the book. I highly recommend it. Very easy to read and understand. You're the best. Oh, thanks, Eric. You're the best too. Appreciate that. And then I also have a second book that I'm in the process of writing right now. And I don't have a title yet, but the general concepts are spiritual topics that I talk about quite a bit with my clients. Things that I think are, let's say, overly complicated in a lot of different books and a lot of different mediums. And so what I'm trying to do is just kind of simplify things. That's my job. Take difficult concepts and simplify them so that everyone can understand them. So things like the law of attraction, things like the law of love, relationship issues, understanding that we're spiritual beings. So that is in my second book, soon to be titled. It's about a third done. I've got 10 chapters with stuff written in each one, and I'm diligently working behind the scenes to try to finish that come summer. So keep an eye out for that soon. And I think that's it. So if there's no further questions, I will sign off a little early. And I thank you again for joining me. And if you've got questions afterwards, feel free to populate them in the comments and I'll get back to them after we go live. So thanks again for joining. Good to see everyone. Take care.